Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. Happy New Year! New Year, new start, new resolutions, and new revelations. I am, as always, this year, Craig.
What were you last year then?
Also Craig.
Oh, you're just reaffirming that.
Probably slightly less. I'm like Goku in Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
And I've gone Super Saiyan this year.
Oh, have you?
Yes, blonde hair.
You haven't.
Silver hair.
Okay. Grey, you mean?
And joining me, as always, is the co-host. Some would say the brains of the operation.
Certainly the person who has the notebook.
She does indeed. She has a notebook, she has a plan, and she has to put up with me. It's Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca.
Rebecca.
We're starting a new trend this year of referring to you by your actual name.
But my name isn't Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Please don't.
K-A-H, Rebecca.
No, it's not.
Biblical Rebecca.
No, it's not. Anyway, hello.
Hello and welcome
And
to Get
Happy
Into
New
Air. Get Into Air on...
Get into air on
Hello
games.
and welcome to Get Into Air on Games.
Whoop, whoop.
It's going good so far.
No editing.
We're 1 minute, 30 seconds in, and I've already forgotten what this podcast is called. But the exciting things about Get Into Games on Air for 2025 are not only are we sponsored by Rent, Shuffle and Roll, the fantastic board game rental service. You name it, they've got it, you rent it. That's how that one works.
Go rent it from Rent, Shuffle and Roll.
Exactly. And if you use code GITG50, you can get 50% off your first month's rentals.
Maybe somebody gave you some money for Christmas.
Money.
And you thought, oh, actually, I would have preferred a board game.
Board game.
And maybe you could put that money that they gave you towards Rent, Shuffle and Roll.
Rent, Shuffle and Roll.
And then you get some board games to play.
Games to play. Excellent. And also, new sponsor of the podcast for 2025 and hopefully beyond is our wonderful friends over at Shirts and Merch. Why don't you get ready for games night in style by heading over to Shirts and Merch and looking at their fine retail section of shirts with beautifully designed board game themes. The most comfortable really shirts you will ever wear.
And they wash really well.
And they wash really well.
The
we actually
design
wash
does
these.
not come off of the t-shirts when you put them in the wash. We have had some, not to mention, brands of t-shirts, and they don't last 5 seconds. Yep. But these ones are really good.
Yep, I've washed my clothes a number of times, more than twice, in fact. Many times. I've many times.
T-shirts,
jumpers,
all sorts.
Many times. So Shirts and Merch and Rent, Shuffle and Roll. Thank you so much for sponsoring this podcast. But what is this episode?
What episode is it?
38.
38.
38 episodes in.
So we started this podcast last year.
Yeah, 8 episodes ago.
At this time of year.
This time of year.
We thought, why not? And we're still going.
We are still going, top 1%, they say.
So this is kind of a redo. This is
Redux.
Yes.
Get Into Games on Air, Redux.
Some kind of
We've done that episode.
Copyright.
I don't know. No, not really.
So it's Revelations and Resolutions 2025.
Well, it's Resolutions and Revelations 2024 because we're talking about the games of 2024.
2025 resolutions. Revelations from 2024 and resolutions from 2025.
Phone in if you've got give us a call in on 0800 Get Into Games on Air. If you've got any, that's it. If you've got any questions, well, wait for the phones. Where we've got someone standing by right now, waiting for your calls. But as always, we are going to talk about what has hit our table over the festive period that has just gone past, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of 2024, what came out, what we played, what we said last year, 1 year ago on the podcast about the games we were playing, and how opinions may or may not have changed. Probably have. And we're going to get into some of our our highly anticipated games of 2024 and whether we actually played them. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have a chat. You've said you've got a little quiz for me. I'm excited that I know nothing about it.
Well, it's not a quiz. It's a new segment.
Where we are like a Satsuma. Every segment is different, except they're not.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so
what did we play?
Christmas Day, we had your mum round.
We did have my mum round. We did not play her. She was not a game.
No, but we did introduce her to Cities.
Yes, we did.
3-player version of Cities, which we had not tried it at 3 players. But it's quite nicely at 3 players. Nice at 3.
3 and 4 is the sweet spot there. 2-player is a bit like, it's fine, it works, but it's not the same Cities.
No, I think you just end up with too many
things, as we mentioned in the past.
Objective cards. We played Flip 7, which I think is a really easy one.
Greatest card game ever played, apparently.
As much as I don't like the box, it's actually a really easy one to get lots of people involved in. And,
really is.
They pick it up really quickly, so that's nice. And we played Wandering Towers with her, which is also another one that comes out a lot when we're playing with people we don't know very well or just want a quick filler game.
Non-gamers, it's a memory game. It
looks really nice on the table.
Especially with our upgraded components as well.
We played some harmonies.
We did. We love harmonies.
And some number 9.
Number 9 is a perfect little puzzle.
We got a new game, which we will talk about in a bit, but we played some fromage.
Oh, yeah. And we ate lots of fromage, and we played lots of fromage, and my tummy is still feeling the effects of fromage.
I don't think the audience needs to know that.
No, they do.
And then we had like a little board game afternoon with the kids yesterday. So we played Skippity, which is like quickly becoming a favourite in the household, which is basically like Chinese checkers with these really cute gem-like discs.
Yeah, look like fruit polos or lifesavers. But I really like, it's just got that kind of really nice, like the scoring. You need to get the same amount of each colour to score, and it's based on like sets of having sets of all the colours. So someone could have like all the reds, but if you've got all like 3 reds, 3 blues, 3 green, all the colours, then you're gonna do well. Yeah.
We played 13 Beavers, which I really like. For a push your luck game, I think that's a perfect game. Yeah. Our little one likes to do the fishing in the middle of the game, and you've got the wolves that you turn over, so it just makes it a bit more interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff for like runaway leaders to slow people down and speed people up. It's good.
But also I think sometimes little ones don't like losing, and in this game often it goes wrong because you'll turn over at an 8 and say higher, and it's not, it's lower, and you have to go back to where your dam was last. And our little one finds that tricky, but because it was also happening to you and to me and to our sister, it was okay like that. Yeah. That works. We bought the kids Giant Stomp the Plank for Christmas, so we've been playing that.
Yes, we have XXL Stomp the Plank, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Just stomp the plank, but
and you've got ideas about playing with the small elephants and the big elephants at the same time.
I might, try and make
our own
rule set for the
We played some Tapple, which is a word game. Yeah. You have letters around the outside of a circle. You have a buzzer in the middle.
Yep.
You might have things that open, and you have to go around the circle pressing different letters of things that open, and you're trying to do it within 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's a really cool little party game. It's a lot more stressful than, like, that really it could just be like zoo animals, and then you're just thinking, what's in a zoo? I don't know.
What zoo animal begins with E?
What is zoo? But yeah, it's really nice.
And then you bought me Chronologique for
I did.
Christmas, which we had tried at UKG, but the noise level in the halls, and we met a few people at that time as well, was really distracting. So we weren't sure whether we would like it or not. But we've now since played 2 games of it.
Yeah.
And it's quite thinky, quite puzzly. And I do like it. The only drawback to it is that there's only 15 scenarios. So I feel like once you finish the 15 scenarios, you're going to be left wanting more. But apparently there's
another 2 being released.
Yeah, so more coming out. So,
but it's like, to me, it's like an unlock game. You only play the unlock game. You only get 3 scenarios in an unlock game. Yeah, and it's the same amount of money. It's relatively. It's not.
It's kind of like Cluedo. You have to work out who's. It's
a murder mystery game, and it's really there's lots of deduction where you get one piece of information, but then you have to share a piece of information.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of be careful of what information you're gaining to share as well.
And we played Micro Macro last night.
I love Micro Macro. I don't know why we haven't played it in so long, but it's just
I think it's not wanting to use up all the scenarios, but every now and again when we get it out, I'm like, oh, I love this.
Yeah,
I could just sit and play it and work them all out.
Yeah, but then you'd burn through the entire game, and
But the beauty of it is, it was the end of the night. We were like, what should we do? We'll play a game of Micro Macro. It's a massive map with lots of tiny characters going about their business in this massive town. And you have to follow the characters round and see where they were going. So we were playing one about a murder. There were three people had been murdered. You had to work out where they lived, where they worked, what they had eaten,
what they all had in common,
who had committed the crime. Yeah. And then at the end it was like, and 2 other people have also died. Can you find them? So you have to go back in the story. But it's really cleverly done.
Yeah, it's a perfect little end of the day. But also everyone can join in. You just spread it on the table. People just jump in and try to find these little. It's like Where's Wally, or Where's Waldo, but yeah, love it.
So that's what we've been playing at the minute. What did we get for Christmas? We bought the kids Pigs on Trampoline.
Yep.
Which we took to Christmas with my parents and my niece and nephew. And my nephew, who's about 2, loved it.
Yeah.
Just chucking these pigs onto the trampoline.
Wanted to play the pig game.
It's
from a morning which started with me rocking up to a little child saying, I don't like you, to me as a greeting. Yeah. Then wanted, Uncle Craig, please play with me. I was pigs do one small child.
No, you weren't. You were very amenable. But
amenable to a 2-year-old. That's me.
It was a big draw. And it's good fun, and they enjoy playing it. Like we said, we got large Stomp the Plank, which is cool because now we've got 4 giant elephants. I feel like they need to be on display somewhere in the house, but where, I don't know.
It's a big old box to kind of put anywhere.
Yeah. We got Tapple, and then the newest one, well, we got Chronologique, but we just talked about that. But the newest kind of bigger box game that you got from your mum was Fromage.
Yeah. I did it up when it came to Kickstarter because it looked good and it was about cheese, and I like cheese. I could talk about cheese. We should just do a cheese-based podcast. Should we just talk about cheese?
Well, we can talk about cheese thieves.
So I like cheese.
Fromage.
But Fromage was very good. And it looked really interesting, and I loved the idea of when I was looking at the Kickstarter and the idea of the Lazy Susan, the board basically turning, and the way it works where you place a worker and then you turn, depending on what maturity of cheese you're gaining, depends on how much, when the board turns for you to retrieve your worker when they're pointing back at you. Yeah, I really loved the idea.
The cheeses can face 3 different ways, depending on how they're aged.
They did the thing at Kickstarter which bugged me, and they did the Kickstarter thing was like, we're going to do Kickstarter prices. If you back it, it's really cheap, and we'll do our retail cheaper than essentially buying it at retail. And that just annoys me because that's just trying to catch on the FOMO. Because personally, the upgrades are unnecessary for that game.
Yeah, you were really worried that you wouldn't like it because it didn't have. Your mum got you the.
Well, you can only buy the retail version.
But you were really worried that it wouldn't be any good without the Lazy Susan brother. But you can you just turn the board. It's absolutely fine.
So the benefit of the Lazy Susan evidently is just the board pivots easier than turning it on a tablecloth.
Whereas but the other things are like upgraded cows and things, which aren't necessary.
Yeah,
really. The upgraded jam.
Yeah, the resources are like berries, animals, and buildings, and they're like just little wooden.
You don't need
meeples. And realistically, the artwork is really nice, and the cardboard components are perfect. I think probably the Kickstarter deluxe version has an insert in the box rather than just being everything thrown in the box haphazardly. But that's
perhaps get a insert later.
Yeah, on. I mean that's just life. But as far as the game is concerned, it is quick, which is really nice because it actually feels like a really thinky worker placement.
It's about half an hour, isn't it?
Yeah, about 40. Yeah, for half an hour, 45 minutes, and for a quite a thinky worker placement game that you could just get home and like an after work kind of game.
Oh yeah.
One that you could just sit up and go with. I think that's ideal, and I can see it coming out quite a lot because if sometimes you do want to play something with a bit more depth to it, but it's like, oh, we've just finished dinner, put the kids to bed. Now it's like 8:00, and I'm just vegging and switching off now.
It's kind of there is a push your luck element to it because you place the workers and you can place the workers in a more lucrative spot, but then you're not going to get them back for 3 turns. So you're like, well, do I do that? Do I hedge my bets with one and take a more lucrative spot and still have 2 workers? But am I going to be? You have to think ahead to. Like each section of the board is its own little mini game, so there's 4 mini games. But what's really nice is that they have so the board has slots where you slide in like 2-player versions and 3-player versions and different 4-player versions.
Yeah.
So like certain spots in a 2-player version are cancelled out, so it actually makes it better. I think
the board's quite modular because the board can be. The 4 quadrants can be put in any order. There's a section in the middle that can be flipped. There's evidently, as Becky just mentioned, those cards that you slide in. Yeah. So it's really modular. So there's a lot of stuff that it can do, even though it is essentially you're playing the same game. It feels different because you're going to be scoring differently. You're going to be placing your workers in different places. The cheese that you gain will be in different.
And the orders that you have to complete are going to be different as well.
Yeah, so everything changes.
I think it's a perfect game to play with a glass of wine or non-alcoholic wine, whatever you choose,
and cheese,
and some cheese.
Love cheese.
Like have a cheese board and then play this game. It'd be perfect.
Board. I could have a cheese board.
You did have a cheese board at Christmas, right? Anyway, so that's what we got for Christmas. So, would you like to play Guess the Board game?
I really like cheese.
Would you like to play Guess the Board game?
I could do with something.
Would you like to play Guess the Board game?
A nice brie or something. Yes, please.
So, this is what I'm hoping will be a new
I'm going to be Gouda at this.
So, I'm going to give you 5 clues.
Okay.
But the first clue I give you is going to be really kind of broad, nice. And then we'll narrow it down.
That's me.
Okay.
Broad.
So, you have to try and guess the board game.
It's Everdell.
No.
Okay.
So, first clue.
Fromage.
No.
Okay.
Because the people at home might like to have a go.
Is this the clue? Or...
No. Right. Ready? One word.
One word.
Nature.
Oh, nature.
And you can only guess once.
Okay. Nature.
Mm-hmm.
Meadow.
No.
I won.
Right.
I won, everyone.
Next one.
Okay.
Next word is river.
Am I allowed to ask if we own this game?
No, you're not allowed to ask any questions. It's just
river.
Guess.
Nature, river.
Yeah.
Nature, river. I will say at this point, when you say nature, river, the river in this game is going to be creature comforts.
No.
I don't even think there's a river in that game.
Next word. Scene.
Sorry?
Scene. As in like a scene, like Christmas scene or...
Like a scenic.
Yeah, scene.
Not scene as in...
S-C-E-N-E. So we've got nature,
skinny.
river, scene.
Skinny. Nature, river, scene. Nature, river, scene. Not quite sure I understand scene. It's slightly less broad. Everdell.
No.
Okay.
Next one. Lion.
Lion?
Yeah.
Nature, river, scene, lion?
Yeah.
Lion?
Lion, yeah.
Like, rah.
Yeah.
Lion?
Yes. Why are you so surprised by that?
Because it's just a random word. You said scene, and then you said lion.
Lion.
Lion. Like, as in...
As in, rah!
Okay, that makes sense. Not someone lying down on a bed.
No.
I'm a lion. I'm a lion down. A lion.
Lion. I bet the people at home are shouting.
They're calling in. The numbers, the red light, the digits.
Nature, river, scene, lion.
Nature, river, scene, lion. Zuli.
No. Cubes.
Cubes? Oh, it's harmonies.
Yeah, the lion on the front of the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that was a good game, wasn't it?
I liked it. Yeah? Was that all 5?
That was all 5 words.
That's
Nature, river, scene, lion, cubes.
Ah.
And the one at the end was what gave you the answer.
Ah, see, harmonies.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Come back next week for the returning.
If anybody else got that.
I think everyone got it. On the first one, they said harmonies as soon as you said nature.
Well, my worry was that the game was going to be totally ruined because you would have said harmony straight away, and I would have been like, "Oh, but that's the end of the game now."
Well, that's why I didn't say. I knew it was harmonies from
No,
the
you
first
didn't.
point,
No,
but I
you
wanted
didn't.
it to feel like we were going through the entire segment, so people could get a taste of it, and then they got a
No,
taste
you
of their
didn't.
glory.
You had no
And now
idea.
that they've had the taste of their glory after 3, they're going to come back next week and they're going to go, "Yes, I want to hear what's
They
next."
want to try and get it in the
and then
first
next week,
one. Yeah,
when you
exactly.
go nature again, as
Oh,
the first
my
one.
God. Harmonies, just different ones.
Yeah, it's the same
Oh,
thing.
we talked about in chronologique. So we've done 2 scenarios. No,
Scenarios.
they're the same scenario, but 2 different
Yeah.
options. Anyway, but you kind of get the gist that it's going to be somebody different from the first scenario. So we've talked about like it would be nice for them to throw in
Just
person,
the same thing, yeah.
because you're expecting it to be a different person.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just like my game, you'd be expecting a different board game
but you're just going to do
next week,
harmonies.
and it could be harmonies.
Harmonies again. Harmonies every week. I like it.
Anyway, so we listened back to the 2024 episode.
Episode 1.
This afternoon, episode 1. And it was quite funny, actually, listening back to ourselves talking. I actually had it on while I was doing some painting with the girls in the kitchen, and I'm not sure that they even realised it was us talking.
Nice.
Because they didn't once mention it, but anyway.
Mummy, why are you listening to yourself?
So I picked out a few things that I thought were quite interesting that we talked about, that we can kind of compare where we're up to now with certain things. So in that episode, we talked about UKG 2023, and we talked about the fact that we had missed out on seeing Outrun the Bear.
Yeah.
So do you want to update?
So yes, at 2024 UKGE, we went and purchased Outrun the Bear.
We did a playthrough.
We did a little playthrough of it. Yeah.
We hunted it down because we didn't know where it was.
To find the green-shirted man.
And we had a little run through, and then we purchased Outrun the Bear.
And it's nice. It's a very nice game, and I want to play it more.
Yeah, we haven't yet introduced it to Alana, have we?
No, but it's quite take-thatty, and it's fun. Again,
You need to be able to read the cards, though.
Yeah, it's quite text, and the writing's quite small. I really like the game. You need
to play with the right people.
And again, yeah, I'm not a big Take That fan. I like their earlier stuff, but their new stuff's a bit weak. But Gary Barlow is a bit of a legend. No. Anyway, what happened? Yeah. So I don't take that type of games.
You don't like.
Not a huge fan. But when it's things like Survive Escape Atlantis and Outrun the Bear and Hit the Silk, and you really just throw yourself into the game for the pure silliness that it is.
Yeah, you need to get like involved in the story and send it up a little bit, and not mind if you get eaten by the bear. It's not about the strategy necessarily that you employ to win the game. It's just it's just silly. It reminds
chaos.
me of we're going on a bear hunt.
Yeah.
And if you take it in that vein, then it's really good fun. If you're trying to be totally serious and win the game, then it kind of can ruin it.
Yeah, I'd really enjoy it, and I just think I just need to get it played more and played with different people and stuff like that. Enjoyable.
So you also talked about Boardtober 2023, and you said it was the best yet.
Oh yeah,
and you mentioned that there had been 17 giveaways. Yeah. So what happened in 2024?
There was over 40 giveaways.
Whoop whoop.
Which was ironic because it was my 21st birthday, so that was double. Birthday. That was the double because I'm 21 now. That was double the amount of my age, so that was good.
So you were really in 2024. You were really kind of blown away with how well it went in 2023. Yeah. So you must be.
It was good. It was very good this year. I really enjoyed it, and I hope everyone else did as well. I felt like I was almost too busy to really enjoy the event as much as.
But you had a job this year, like a
real paid job, yeah.
As opposed to like
previous years where I can just be able to, give myself to everything. So maybe better preparation for 2025.
Maybe when you design the word list in September.
When I put the word list out on social media in August. August is when I put the word list out in August, and then people can recommend the words that I will put in September.
Oh, yeah.
Not in advance of that. That's when I'll make the word list.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I just
August,
wanted
September,
to make everybody clear.
But then you could actually prepare your photos in September, so you're not rushing around in October.
This makes sense.
But that would require planning.
And also going on holiday in October. Yeah. But still, it was really good, and it was a lot of fun. And
bigger, better next year?
And it spawned...
This year?
It has spawned a creativity within the community to create December versions, Valentine's versions. So now there are more photograph events going out throughout the year. Yeah. So
it gives
if I've given other people creativity to run with, then the job is done, as long as people are having a good time with it.
So is it going to be bigger, better, more giveaways?
I think it's going to be the same.
Less giveaways, but better giveaways, or...
Well, I think
what's the plans?
I don't have plans. This is very early. I mean, I have planned. I'll probably plan it a little bit more than I plan the podcast.
That's hardly anything then.
I'll.
You might think about it the day before.
Yeah, I'll think about it in August.
Okay, so the other thing we talked about quite a lot on the first episode was the fact that we had really enjoyed all of our plays of Clock Tower in 2023.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Clock Tower now?
Yeah, I've got into a routine of...
It's still our most played game.
Yes.
Even though, spoiler alert, I've not been statting properly.
No. I think I'm still enjoying it. I am starting to call on the online version, I think, a bit more. I really like playing it in person. I like running it in person. I want to be able to run... So, I want to run more of the experimental characters in person, but I also do not want to be buying third-party versions of the game just to run it, like a lot of people do. I think there's an issue somewhere along the line.
Are they bringing them out?
Well, they're meant to be doing an expansion with 3 new scripts. The 3 new scripts are titled on the website, but it's just awaiting that. And I don't want to be the person, because the thing is, what's going to happen is they're going to release that expansion, that thing on a Kickstarter, and everyone's already got the components. Everyone's got the new characters. So how well are they actually going to do for making money when everyone's already got those parts to? Because you can go to any Blood on the Clock Tower event they're being put on in pubs or stuff around, and they're playing with the experimental characters with those tokens. So I don't understand, or I don't know. Maybe they just need to sell the tokens. I don't know.
I love playing it still. I think that I notice that sometimes it upsets people, and that I don't like that element of the game. Like it gets quite close to the wire sometimes, and people, if you play with your friends, sometimes you can use what you know about them against them in the game, which is what you're supposed to be doing because you're trying to
bluff,
but it feels quite
cutthroat.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't like that. So I've called on it in that regard. I don't need to play it quite as much as I needed to play it in 2023. But I do agree with you that there is something really nice about playing it in person. I think that you can logic it through and write everything down online, but that's not the nature of the game. The game, people are meant to forget what's been said to them and slip up, and that's what's meant to happen. And I think that I've played a couple of like online games this last year, 2024, and really enjoyed it, and also really enjoyed playing with people I don't usually play with as well. There's, to see how different people play different characters is quite interesting. So I'm still definitely enjoying it, and there is loads more to explore. And the fact that the game still holds that interest 2 years on, it says something about the game.
I think there is a level of the game as well, though. There is now it's such a big game and it has such a cult following. There is a level of gaming the game, and there's a level of people that are essentially gatekeeping the game without realizing they're gatekeeping it.
What do you mean?
I think people know it's a hard when you play it constantly. It's like, for example, Star Wars Unlimited. It's like buying a deck that is you can pay for a deck and it'll win every time, or you can try and collect it. If you don't know how to play it and you're against someone who really knows how to play the game and knows every single rule, you don't really stand a chance.
I think also slip-ups and things happen as a player, but also as a storyteller, and you've got to allow that to happen because nobody's perfect. And then there are some people who like to, kind of, oh, well, that shouldn't have happened because yes, obviously, but it's a game at the end of the day. And like all board games, you would pick the wrong strategy, choose the wrong card, move the wrong pawn, etc.
I think what's hard in Blood on the Clock Tower is if the storyteller makes a single mistake, everyone can latch onto that and be like, oh, well, it was the storyteller's fault. They did that. When actually, not entirely. There's a lot of weight on the storyteller. And recently, I think I felt that for me, when I do slip up, it kind of feels more weighty because the people that are playing sort of go in on it harder. And it's sort of like, well, you're more than welcome to log off the server. So I think people...
I think you just have to play it in like a...
Yeah.
Like, you have to be understanding of everybody's kind of...
Yeah. I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I think there are games that are potentially... There are other games out there that do similar things to it. I still enjoy it and I still love it. I just think it's... I don't have the urge to...
I used to have to play it every week. Like, when are we playing Clock Tower? And I used to play it online and text games and all sorts. And I'm not, like, obsessed by it anymore. Like, I like playing it and I like getting our group of friends to play it. But I also like popping along to the dice box and playing it there. And
I think if anything's going to change for 2025, I think there's potential that I don't know how much longer I'm going to stay paying for the Patreon to be able to play it online, because it's costing 15 quid a month basically to play Blood and the Clock Tower, which means I have to play it, because otherwise if I don't play for a whole month, then I've just paid £15 for the privilege of having an app in the background of my laptop. But so I
these people don't need to know about whether you're going to pay for an app or not.
But it's part of the game, isn't it? It's what. Yeah. You asked me how I feel about Clock Tower now.
I did.
I've just told you.
I did.
Shit.
No.
I mean, sorry, it's really good.
On the last podcast, we also...
beep! Sorry, I've censored the swear word.
Oh, God, Craig.
You just swore. You said God, Craig.
Gosh, Craig.
God, Craig. That's like me Super Saiyan Goku.
I'm sorry if I offended anyone.
Android 17.
We're all going to be cancelled now.
Kamehameha.
Anyway, on the first ever podcast, we were also talking about the massive hype around Farshawe, because that had come out in 2023 and everybody had been like, oh, I've got Farshawe. And then promptly everybody said Farshawe was rubbish and it was no good, and we were
because it
in
was
the
a
camp.
reskin, and then January came out.
But we were in the camp of, actually it's all right. We like playing it. It's perfectly good at 2 players. Don't really like it at 4. It just takes too long and the pieces don't fit on the board. But that's the same as I feel about Everdell. Where are we now with the Everdell universe?
Well, we have a new Everdell coming very soon, Everdell Duo, in the realms of 2024, which was, of course, the year of the duet or the duel game. We have Everdell Duo due very soon. I think it's been received in America land.
Yeah, they said, I think, January.
But yeah, we should be getting it here in Old Blighty soon.
That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm excited. One is the co-op side of things. I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for a 2-player variant that's different. I'm excited. I don't mind. I like Everdell. I like the universe. I like the art. I like all of that stuff. So I will always dive into it because I just really enjoy the whole... The game is, for me, what I enjoy. I like the tableau building. I like the deck building, tableau building kind of thing. I like worker placement. And anthropomorphic animals, which was probably my word of the year. But yeah, I think it's interested me in my what I have found is that the backlash of Farshawe, the reskin, I just reskinned Everdell, and then the following year in January or February, Wormspan is launched to thunderous applause. Wingspan with dragons, and the weird, well, that's a reskin I can get behind. And then towards later on in the end of the year, you have Lord of the Rings Jewel, which is Seven Wonders Jewel, just reskinned with an IP. That's an IP, that's a reskin I can get behind. I don't understand where I think...
Yeah, it's fine not to like Farshawe, that's fine. But but to say that it's...
Just a reskin,
it is different.
Yeah, but as the other games that are just reskins are... and I feel like there is a big...
pandemic and all of the pandemic games.
It's a jealousy thing. That Farshawe got sent to 1 million content creators, and I was one of them. Cry.
Oh dear.
Cry.
Hey. Right, let's move on.
Okay. So that's the last ever episode of Get Into Games on Air.
Why?
You said you wanted to move on.
No, I mean on to the next
segment. Hello, welcome to the next segment of the show.
So, our games of 2023.
Ooh. It's a long time ago, 2023.
So, you had some honourable mentions. So, I'm just interested to know whether, well, I know, but I think the audience may be interested to know whether these still feature.
Call in if you are interested to know.
Highly in your, gaming, in the gaming world that we live in, and whether they get to the table still.
I love tables.
So your honourable mentions were Footsteps of Darwin, White Castle and Robot Quest Arena. So how are you feeling about those?
How am I feeling
now?
about those? I'm feeling that Footsteps of Darwin is a perfect game that I will just get to the table whenever I want to get to a table.
Yeah. It's easy, isn't it?
Easy. It's short because it's 12 turns. It can be played with anyone. It can be played with the kids. They don't need to even have a strategy of what they're doing. It's a wonderful, wonderful little game. There is the new version that's come out this year, Footsteps of Marie Curie. I don't care about that. Footsteps of Darwin is lovely.
Going back to the previous thing, is that a reskin? Is it slightly different? Does it play exactly the same?
Different game. It's different game. It's got a cube tower. It's a good big gold cube tower in it. It looks exciting because it's a tower of cube.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently it's quite good, but thematically it doesn't interest me.
So I think
maybe it should, but it doesn't.
You had said, if I remember it correctly, that White Castle was in your honourable mentions because you hadn't played it enough.
Yes. White Castle, if potentially, is probably one of my games of 2023, probably.
2024, you mean?
No, if I'd have played it more,
yeah,
I think that would have been in my games of 2023.
Yeah. But now you have played it quite a lot at different player counts.
Yeah, I'm gonna be devil's advocate. I really like it at 2. I really don't like it at 4.
Okay.
I did not like. We played it recently, and it was fine, but I just didn't. I didn't like. I felt like I was at a point when my turn came around.
Yeah.
That everything had gone. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't.
Being the first player, really important. Right?
Yeah, and I just couldn't get I couldn't get anything going. I couldn't even get to be the first player. Like it was. I couldn't get anything.
I do find that with White Castle, if you haven't played it for a while and then you get it out, it's remembering how it plays, and then as soon as you play it, you're like, can we play again? Because I've now remembered what I'm supposed to do. And
again, it's nine moves, like 9 turns. So it's now if you add the Matcha expansion, I think it's 10 or 11 moves you have, or 12 or something. It adds a little bit more, adds a green dice, but I think as the base game goes, it's perfect. It's really fun. I love the comboing up of stuff. I really like how you play it, and you're trying to maximize every single dice that you put down. It's really nice, and I think it's a phenomenal little game, and it would have probably been higher up had we played it more in 2023. But yeah,
Robot Quest Arena.
A rapid call, I feel, on Robot Quest Arena.
So in the podcast, the first podcast, we were talking about, it was really exciting because there's another board coming out and you can now play it at 11 players or something ridiculous like that. Yeah. And we were like, we're really excited. And when I listened back to it this afternoon, I was kind of like, why would you ever want to play that at 7, 8, 9?
I would,
players?
Like, the bigger board and the more players sounds like fun, but it could be fun. The price point was insane.
Yeah.
The fact that they released a Kickstarter as the original Kickstarter was being delivered and getting out there, then they announced a brand new Kickstarter is just an absolute piss take.
Also,
because
weren't they selling Kickstarter things at UKG?
They were selling the Kickstarter exclusive stuff. They were selling it at UKG. They were selling it at Essen. They're still selling.
I'm not sure I agree with
the Kickstarter
if you've
exclusives.
Made people buy something at Kickstarter,
I think that was annoying. And you could get the big box to fit all the robots in for stupid amount of money for a box. It just felt like this isn't. You haven't waited. You know this is in the pipeline. If it's not a reactionary. This did really well at Kickstarter this year, so we're gonna do something else. You have these things planned for years. If the game took for that long to launch initially, then the new game found launch of the big board and the box with loads of extra robots and loads of extra cards.
The kids do still love the game.
I know, I do love the game. I think the game is good fun, and I like the fact that there's not like player elimination like King of Tokyo, and I think it's a great game. I feel like it disguises itself as a robot battling deck builder, but you do not need to deck build. There's no point.
So essentially, you the problem with the game is what my shelf life finds is the problem with King of Tokyo Duel. There are other ways to win, but essentially you only have to do one thing, which is bash people.
Yeah. It's playing a game where you're just doing one, but you don't need to. There's no benefit to hope that the right cards come out by the right defense, because if you start building your deck and buying decks and scrapping cards, there will be someone, and maybe that's because we've just played against our daughter who will just, I'm going to bash daddy, I'm going to bash daddy. So you have to kind of react and go, no, I'm going to get your robot now. Because if I start building my deck while she's just beating the living hell out of me, well, I've got a really powerful deck now, but I'm dead. So there's no point now that I've got this. So it's fun. I'm glad we've got it because I really like the robots. I really like the game. I just don't think I'll go into any more of it.
So it's not going to make your games of 2024, is it?
No.
So my games of 2023 were Lacuna, Distilled, and Ticket to Ride Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Lacuna I still love. I think it's a really quick one to get out. Yep. Obviously it's only 2 players, but you can kind of play it like as a team against team. It's quite a nice chill one. I still really enjoy that. Ticket to Ride Legacy, since we finished it, has not come back out. I was hoping that it would, because it's the only version of Ticket to Ride we have. But it just doesn't. Like, I just don't think I'm that interested in playing Ticket to Ride. Like, I'll play Ticket to Ride on BGA, but I feel like I need to get it out.
I think as well is that the Legacy, now that it's complete, you have your own board with your own kind of designed board with colours and whatever. The main issue with that is and it's got all of those extra rules.
Yeah.
It's not just Ticket to Ride, is it?
Yeah.
You've got loads of type of Ticket to Ride to play in the game, which makes it not Ticket to Ride. And so there's a rules overhead. And the board is the size of a small country, literally, somewhat. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Distilled, I do still love that game, but for some reason it doesn't get to the table as much as it should do.
I don't know why. This is a great game.
I think maybe it's because it's quite a big setup.
We played it lots when we first got it.
Yeah. I don't know. It hasn't got to the table that much in 2024. And I think maybe other things came in, or we've been quite busy this year. But it's definitely, I would never get rid of it because
I think the last time we played it was with PJ, so that was April.
Yeah.
April
I don't know.
2024.
It's a great game.
We played it on BGA once.
And I'm hoping that 2025 is the year for playing more of that.
Yeah, definitely.
So you had on your list,
yes,
Expeditions, After Us, and the Art Project. But you did on the podcast clarify that for the Art Project you'd only played 2 boards so far.
Yeah.
Obviously, a year on.
Yeah.
Where are we up to with those games?
So the Art Project is still one of my favourite all-time co-op games. I just think it's so good. It's remarkably easy to teach. When you sort of explain the limited communications and the negotiation side of things, it's such an interesting avenue. We've now played all the boards. So it's really exciting that you can just choose a board randomly and change the difficulty levels and change your play styles. So it's such a lot of game in a small box. Love the Art Project. It's always going to be up there for me for those for co-op kind of thing. After Us we just played it to death, I think, towards the end of the year.
I think the problem with After Us, like, I love the game. I love the way the cards match up and you get the certain resources, and I do really enjoy it. And we don't have anything else in the collection that's quite like it. The problem for me is it feels like a very solo game. Yeah. Like, I'm not interacting with you at all, other than to use the token that you choose if I want to. There's no other interaction we have to have. And I quite like a game where I talk about something, or I'm at least trying to work against what you're doing,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And there's a lot of trust in that everyone's doing the right thing, because no one's really paying it. It's so quick. No one's really paying attention that you've grabbed the right resources or whatever. The other thing I find with it is you play a style, and then when you've worked a way out to get to 80 points, you just do that as much as possible. Expeditions, I still enjoy Expeditions. I think it's good. I am interested in getting the expansion just because they've improved the player boards to double layered. There's some extra little bits. We do play it quite a bit. It's probably one of the Stonemaier ones that we played the most this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's enjoyable little game.
Okay, so and then we had some children's games that we had kind of picked out. Yep. We had Stomp the Plank.
Yep. Still great.
Which is still great, and we've now bought the XXL version, so we obviously do like that.
Yep.
Featherweight Fiesta, which hasn't hit the table as much as I thought it would.
Yeah.
That the kids quite like it.
It's really nice. I think it's a setup thing.
Yeah.
It's a nice little game, but yeah.
And then Boop, we mentioned. We have since played with Games with Beanie and My Shelf Life, Boop the Halls, which I do actually think might be my favourite Boop.
It's nice. There's multiple ways, especially knocking the little Christmas ornaments off the tree.
I think with Boop and Koala and games like that, there's a time and a place for those when you want to play a 2-player abstract strategy game, and it's not all of the time.
Yeah,
because a lot of the time we want to play a game that's a 4, so that's not going to work. But
I'd definitely say with Boop and like either Boop, Halloween Boop, or Boop the Halls are probably the only additions you need. Probably, maybe
you only really need Boop the Hall, because then you can play all the
board's not square for Boop the Halls.
I don't know. So then we had our resolutions from last year. So I want to see whether you have kept your resolution. So mine
100%.
was,
I know I have. I'm
to use Instagram to like showcase the hobby, which I think I have done this year. I've been far more active on Instagram. I tried to complete all the Boardtober stuff. I've tried to do my own little bits and pieces, so I feel like I have achieved that. Yours was to research for the podcast.
Yeah, smashed it.
Yeah, if you count
smashed
thinking about it 2 minutes before we sit down, or going, Becky, what are we talking about today?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe not so much that one, but then the second one that you had was to get back. So we were talking about in the first episode the fact that we statted so much, and we had like challenges that we had to do. Play a game every day, 365 games, the A to Z challenge, challenge. And you said you wanted to get back to enjoying the hobby and sharing your enjoyment on Instagram. Do you think you have achieved that?
Yeah, I think I've definitely enjoyed playing the games more. And I think that goes with the whole, as you'll find out later, stats just kind of dropping off a cliff, kind of just enjoying games again. I think it's been an interesting year on Instagram for content-wise and social media. Maybe it hasn't been the strongest year for content.
For you,
but equally...
Because you got a job.
No, maybe that, but maybe just, I don't know. Maybe...
Lost your mojo a bit?
Lost the mojo. Maybe I just changed tacks a little bit. I think different types of content, working out that kind of thing. I think it's been a good year for actual gaming. I feel like we've played more games with more people this year than any time before.
Yeah, I definitely think that we've widened our friendship net.
Yeah. And we've played more. Yeah, we've had more games.
Had more people come over to our house to play games.
Yeah. And to me, that's more important than any of the other stuff, really. As long as we're getting games played and introducing new games to people and stuff, it's part of the fun. So
we set 2 challenges for ourselves in our first episode, which was to play 20 new to me games and replay 20 old favourites. And we smashed those. And I said we would because they were really easy to do. So like the new games were things like Rafter 5, Joe Poulter. But some of these I think we hadn't started. Mentions Sky Team, Isle of Cats, Hand to Hand Wombat. There are lots of games that we hadn't played before that we've there's more than that that's on that list. And then to replay 20 old favourites, so things like Sagrada, Tekanoko, Jamaica, Imhotep, Trekking the World, Splendor, Pandemic, Carcassonne, the list goes on. So they were fairly easy to do.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was good. I think we could have probably we smashed through those, but then we didn't pressure ourselves to do it.
Well, I didn't even know we'd done it until I looked today.
So we definitely didn't pressure ourselves harshly. I think if we were to do something, I'd be interested to do like a 10 by 10 or a 20 by 5, or I don't know, whatever it is, 5 by 20 or whatever. I would be interested in doing that again. But I'm not that bothered about. I mean, we have our collection has grown substantially this year again. Even with culling, I think we are now massively over 500 games, and that is too many board games.
You can't even play one every day.
But we can go in and sit in front of the Calyx and go, "What should we play?" And go, "No idea."
Yeah.
And that shows that there are too many. So I feel like even doing a 10 by 10 challenge is like, okay, I can play 10 of these 10 times. Wow. But what do I do with the other 490 plus games that are sitting in front of me begging to be played?
I think that, I don't know, like maybe this needs to be the year where we actually, if we don't play it. I saw, I think it's
Burn It.
Old Meeple sets himself a date. I don't know if it's like a year from the last play, and if he hasn't played it in that year, then it's gone. Because there are definitely games when I look and go, yeah, I'm never going to play that.
I think there are games that we have that I am thinking this will be a good game to play with Alana when she is slightly older. So I don't want to get rid of it because it's a good game, and I know that she'll enjoy it and we'll enjoy playing it together. But at the moment, they're too young to enjoy it. And I think that's what's stopping some games going out.
So the biggest thing for me this year was, I think it might have even been Molicon, where I just suddenly felt the urge not to stat anything.
It was, yeah. You said at Molicon you were just like,
we were just playing too many games. I was having a nice time, and I didn't want to keep getting my phone out and going, right, I think maybe it was because we played a 10-player game of Draftosaurus, and I thought, I'm not going to log all these people's names.
I can't be bothered.
Whilst it's nice to look back on the stats and go, yeah, I played these. We know who we played games with. We know what games we played.
Yeah, we had a nice time
at the time. It hasn't bothered me in the slightest that for the latter half of the year we've not been statting anything. Occasionally we'll go, oh, we need a score pad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And we tot up the scores and it saves on
BGA. Yeah, the BGA score pad is the
BGG.
Whatever it's called.
Board game stats.
The stats app.
Yeah.
For most games has an inbuilt score pad. So for most games, if you're doing score pad stuff, then you can do it and you get it on there. But if there's a game that's just like there's a winner, there's not a winner.
Then we don't.
If it's a SETI or something like that, which is just a score track, you can see who won because are you gonna rank it? No, probably not.
Yeah. So I don't know what will happen in 2025. So since Christmas Day, I've started statting again. It's nice to see at the end of the year how many games you've played, and I was seeing some people's like board game roundups for 2024 and thinking, oh yeah, it's quite nice to have that. I played 2,000 games or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it's nice, but it's not necessary.
It's nice, but it's also I don't live for that content.
No.
That's not like people do that for content.
I just want to play the games.
It ticks a box. Yeah, I agree. I just want to play the games. I don't mind. I enjoy looking at the stats, but I'm not that interested in going, oh, I won this percentage of games this year. I couldn't care about that.
The only thing that's quite useful is that you can go back and say, oh, I haven't played that game since 2023. So do I still need it in my collection?
Put it in the fire.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so quite a lot of games hit our table in 2024.
Yes.
Notably, some games from 2024. Shall I just read out the list and then maybe you pick your favourite?
I can throw some more in, yeah.
So we've got Wormspan, SETI, Flip 7, Star Wars Unlimited, Cities, King of Tokyo Duel, Arcs, Castle Combo, Harmonies.
Yeah.
Those kind of games.
Yeah, there was a lot of good games this year. I think this year probably was one of the strongest years for board games since, for me personally. I think it's been such an incredible year.
Any of those,
SETI, I think, from the day I saw it at UKGE that first time, I was like, I'm sold.
To make somebody go and get it for you at Essen is quite, you're taking that quite seriously.
Yeah.
I am investing in
this
this
my
game.
Money. Please go to Germany. Thank you.
I need this game.
It's an incredible game, and I think it's my game of the year. I would say 100%. That's my game of the year. I was so looking forward to Arcs this year as well, and I personally...
We don't like area control, though.
Well, yeah, but I think there's just too much luck for me. The luck of the dice and the luck of the cards is but I enjoy the game and I will enjoy playing it. I think the hype is quite high for it, and I think it's too high. But hey, that's
I would pick playing Root over Arcs.
Yeah,
any day.
Harmonies I think is definitely stole. That's just such an incredible game. Castle Combo, we've played tons of Castle Combo.
I am a little a game that I think was underrated for me until I saw, I think, Board Game Review UK playing it a lot. And I thought, there's got to be something here, because why is he playing this every single day of the week? Was Cities for me. And once we played that, I thought, there's something here. I like this. It's quick but puzzly, and you're trying to grab resources and you're stopping other people from getting the best resources. And to me, it's just a perfect little box, 20-minute. Well, actually, it's quite long sometimes. We played it with your mum. Yeah. Maybe 30, 40 minutes. It's quite good fun.
I think, Cities is a really good game. I think one of the games this year, I think the game probably, arguably my game of the year released in 2024 was SETI. My game of the year of games that are new to me is Return to Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Yes, that's not a 2024 game, but from this year, for a game that has taken my brain by storm is
I do like it. I definitely do like it. I think for me, something like Mist over Carcassonne has really it's not a 2024 game.
No, not at all.
It's definitely one that we got it in 2024. So
Bonsai was really nice as well, getting that late in the year. So there's been quite a lot of games this year. And I think for hype factor, I think there's been a lot of massively hyped games this year, like an Arcs, like a Far Away, that just don't tick my boxes.
So
never tick my.
Let's
box.
segue into
me
episode 2 from 2024, where we talked about things.
I'm excited.
That we were really excited about.
Really excited.
Anticipating. Highly coming out in 2024.
I like highly anticipated.
This list just makes me laugh because
most of the games that we mentioned that we really love this year are not on it.
There are a few ticks and there are lots of crosses. Anyway, let's talk about it. So, shall I go through my list?
I think you should go through yours because it's much more successful.
Okay, so on my list, I mentioned being very excited about Skyrise. I still am very excited about Skyrise, but Skyrise has not made it into our house, or I've not met anybody who has it.
Craig has a thing about Skyrise.
Oh, it's the component thing again, isn't it?
The Dulux, the paint copy, the Durex, Deluxe,
Deluxe.
not the
Deluxe,
Durex copy.
The Deluxe.
The Deluxe copy. My God, that thing's beautiful. The buildings, mwah, chef's kiss. The board itself, the presentation, the production. Oh my days! I saw a photo of someone playing that. I don't know their account. If I could say their account, because I can't remember it, I would say it, and you should follow them to look at the pictures because my days, it's beautiful. I might also check Mr. Board Game Meeple because he's the type of person that Gareth probably has it. Anyway, not the point.
Anyway, I need
beautiful.
Need to find out if it's any good. Because...
Retail edition, just wooden buildings.
Yeah, but it looks all right.
It's fine, but it's come on.
Anyway, I'm still interested in it, and I've not been deterred.
No, I've not been
deterred. Because some of the ones on my list, I have been deterred.
Oh, deterred.
But Skyrise is still in my, on my radar, and I still will want to find somebody who has it or to buy it and see if I like it.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Another one on my list was Catan New Energies. Now, this year was the year we learned how to play Catan. And we found out we really don't like Catan, as you may well know from another episode. So I am no longer interested in Catan New Energy. So that one had a big...
Yeah, I think Catan's not even a game.
One on my list that did get a tick, though, that we did play at UKG, but we haven't bought it, is Aqua, which I did really enjoy.
I did. Even though the teach was
but I just
less than great.
I just feel like we have games that do a similar thing. Now we also have Shallow Sea now with the fishes and you turn it over.
So, we have essentially Acropolis, Cascadia, Harmonies, and Shallow Sea that are all essentially the same game.
Aqua. Like, I'll play it if someone else has it.
It's beautiful.
It is lovely, but I don't need it. But I have played it, so tick.
I would love to play it again.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't turn it down.
I don't know. Nick Board Game Review may have it still. He may have already sold it because he likes Acropolis more, which I can understand.
And then, so one on my list has a question mark because I was very excited by this game. Probably the most excited out of all of the ones on the list. At UKGE, I don't think you could see it because it was in a cabinet, which made it more kind of like, I must see. You'd seen it at the press night.
Yeah.
It was locked away. I could not see it.
You were not. It was in a
we
glass
have
cabinet.
It in our house, but we have not played it yet. It is Undaunted
2200. See, you struggled saying that number last time.
2200?
Yeah.
So we have it in our house.
It's just on the Calyx.
We just haven't played it yet. So that's got to get to the table.
Yes.
And then the last one on my list
It seems daunting.
Yeah.
To get it.
You have to be in the right frame of mind to learn a new game, and with work and kids, we don't always have a free weekend or time to look up, how to play. We use a lot of how to play video, so we don't have to do the reading of the rule book necessarily.
Yeah,
but it's just finding the time. But we will get it to the table. My last one on my list was the Trash Game by Ely Rivers, but I believe they haven't brought that out yet. So that's not really a cross. So I've got 2 crosses, 1 tick, 1 question mark, and 2 question marks because one's not out and one's to be played. So
just you wait.
I think I did quite well.
You did almost as well as me.
So Craig, on your list, you had Arcs, tick.
Yes, as mentioned before, it's fine. I really enjoyed it. I was probably more excited than when I played it. Plays better. It doesn't play well at 2. Plays better at 3 or 4. It is quite luck driven. If you don't have the right cards or don't roll the right dice, then stuff happens. But that's life.
But isn't it one of those games that plays better at 3 or 4? But if you were going to play a 3 or 4 player game, you'd probably play something different.
Yeah, maybe. But you have to be into it. It's a mean game. You have to really want to be mean to people, and I'm not always like that, funnily enough.
Anyway.
If it's mean, then can be fun, but if it's mean and just, Anyway.
It is the only tick that you have on
It's the only tick on my list, yeah.
So, Craig was really excited about Rock Hard 1977.
And I still am. I just don't know why I don't have it.
Oh.
I don't know why I don't own
We
that
have
game.
lots of Devere games.
Yeah, it's the only Devere game So of all the Devere games that came out this year, I have most of them. And got most of them this year, like Sand and Salt and Sea and Cities. Like all of the releases from UKGE are in my house, bar one, which is the one that was on this list. And I'm still really excited. It still looks cool. I love the dials, the amp score track thing. It just looks wicked.
So that's a bit like Skyrise, and you're going to acquire it at some point.
Yeah,
fair enough. Then you had Flock Together.
Well, Flock Together hasn't been released. So it's been reached Kickstarter backers, but it hasn't actually come to retail, and I didn't back it at Kickstarter. So had that come out, I probably would have bought it. Andrew Bossy art, really cool idea. I like the look of it.
Okay, so potentially that one's coming.
Yeah.
And then Harvest.
Harvest looked great. It is out. I could buy it from the shop. I have not done that. Nick,
haven't heard much.
Nick from Board Game Review has it, and he enjoys it.
But there's not been much talk about it.
Not a huge amount, no.
No, and I didn't see it at UKG.
No, because it's Keymaster, so it's people who make Caper and Parks.
And then Mythwind was a big one. You were very excited about that.
I was really excited about that.
Minis.
It looked really good. And then I talked to people. So when I got excited about it, I was talking to PJ, the Cajun Gamer from Meeple to Meeple podcast. Make sure you get listening to that about it. And he was really excited for it. He had the Kickstarter, fully backed, all singing, all dancing, everything. And then he played it. And then I started looking at reviews, and I don't normally
bow down to the review.
No. But there was a worrying trend of reviews. And
good reviews? A worrying trend of good reviews?
No, what was the trend was that people who bought the Kickstarter played the Kickstarter and they reviewed it and they said, this is a solo game that doesn't make sense and it's not very good. It was like things like, for example, you could go out and do farming and then you had someone who works in the market, but the person who went farming wouldn't sell the goods to the person at the market, and the market couldn't sell. So that you're playing your own little sandbox games in this world, which doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you sell to the market, and then the market sell to the hunts, like the characters? And there was this trend of everyone, and PJ very much disliked it, and a lot of the reviews didn't like it. And then I noticed that content creators were getting review copies and absolutely raving about how amazing this game was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it came abundantly clear to me that everyone who received the game for free loved it. Everyone who paid for it didn't. And I then decided that it didn't sound like it was good for me. It didn't make sense to me. And because people were getting rid of it and people that I trust their opinions were getting rid of it, I decided that wouldn't be there anyway. So that was going to be not bothering being on my list.
So next week's episode.
We
will talk about your honourable mentions in a minute. But
do I have them? Oh, yes, I made honourable mentions. What an idiot. What an absolute idiot.
But next week's episode will be talking about what we're looking forward to in 2025. Now, the overall aim is to get a better score
than one
in 2026 than we got now. So we're going to aim to be more accurate in what we are looking for in a board game.
I'm going to beat one.
Anyway,
by specifically picking the ones we backed on Kickstarter. So Everdell Duo is going to be on there. Luthia is going to be on there. Can't Go is going to be on there. And then I've already won. Is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay.
Your honourable mentions that you were also really interested in.
Yeah.
Heat, Heavy Rain.
Right. So this is another one. I was excited for.
I feel a rant.
I was excited for heavy rain, or torrential rain, as I kept referring to it in the episode. Anyway, and then you offended
torrential
all the French people.
Yes.
So heat, heavy rain. Really excited for that. I was like, yes, rain modules. That'd be wicked. You can add it to the car. it turns out one board has rain on it. One board. Why couldn't it be like a perspex thing that you put over the board so every track could have rain? No, just Japan. One rain track. Then the other side is normal, and also an expansion that goes, haha, here's an extra car, but you still know that now you've got 7 cars and you've still got 8 gaps in the base game box. So you know that there's still another expansion in the pipeline just so you can get the 8.
To play,
and Heat is absolutely fine as it is with the modules that you can play with those different cards to upgrade your car and stuff like that. And Heat's fine without the expansion. The expansion's fine and fluffy, but don't worry about it. It's fine.
And then you had
an honourable mention for 2025. 2025.
You didn't say that at the time.
Yes, though. I did. I did mention this game's not out till 2025. So,
but it's not now called what you called it, is it?
No.
I think it's changed.
No.
What's it called now?
Tabletop Inc.
Tabletop Inc. So it was what was called Meeple Inc. Craig is very excited. We are very excited about this game because it's like our world in a board game, right?
Yeah, it's basically
but it's
taken
not out
over
till
by
2025. So I don't know why we mentioned it in a podcast about 2025.
So the Moomins, because it was coming to kick.
Moomins.
It was coming to kick
the Moomins.
The Moomins, not the Moomins. The Moomins.
Who are the Moomins?
They're the Moomins because you can't call them meeples.
Oh wow!
So the Moomins.
Oh, I thought we were over all that meeple stuff.
No. Well, they're not because they're the ones being sued.
Oh.
So the Moomins, there are basically humanoid Moomins, meeples, and humans working together to create board games, and you're working with the Moomins. Not the Moomins, they're different.
The Moomins.
The Moomins.
That would be a very interesting game, wouldn't it? If they'd have smashed the Moomins and tabletop.
Yeah, let's have that together. Anyway, it's really cool. I'm excited. That's 2025. I've got 4 games for 2025.
Whoa, Craig is on a roll.
I've won.
You don't need to listen to next week's
yes,
episode
you do.
because he has already listed
Becky
4.
has a game
yes.
starting with nature.
No.
So yeah, and also for next episode, I did do a template that is on my Instagram machine that lots of people have sent, which I've seen, which is wonderful. Feel free to send some more. It's saved in my templates on Instagram, and that is your best game of 2024, your best new to you game, your most overrated game, your favourite experiences of 2024. Let us know and we'll read them out on the podcast. We might have a guest. Who knows? Who'd have guessed?
Ha.
But yes. Oh shit. I mean, what? You made me jump.
Oh, you said that word again.
Oh, piss.
Craig.
2025, the year of the big swears.
Only for adult listening.
Oh, NSFW.
Let's move on to
Not
our
safe for wank work.
resolutions for 2025.
Smashed it.
So I've got a few.
Oh god.
So I would like to do some more how to play videos. I did a few for TikTok and Instagram. Like little like Next Station London, those kind of things. I really enjoyed making them, so I want to make some more. We would like to try to get back to doing 1 podcast a week.
Yeah, we are going to do 1 podcast a week.
I have already written down 8 ideas for podcasts.
That's 2 months of podcasts coming in your wazoo.
And it's written down in my book.
Yeah. We're going to have
Where's
guests.
your planning?
Shut up. We're going to have guests. We're going to have lists. We're going to have games. We're going to have all the things you could ever ask for and more. If there is anything you want to ask for, please ask for it.
I would also like to... So I have this year sort of indulged my class in board games, just sort of subtly introducing them to board games. Like I took Cluster to start with, then I took Roll for it, and then we played Toss It and 6 Second Scribbles and Jungle Hustle and lots more. So I want to continue introducing them to new board games as well. And then you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think for me, I want to get more into with content creation. I want to get more into the podcast, obviously, and I want to focus on that. I want to focus on our Instagram site channels and other socials. I do want to put a bit more focus into making YouTube videos again, but also the potential of starting our own Get Into Games Twitch stream very, very soon. So that is something that I'm looking into at the moment. Streaming games from BGA, streaming games from the tabletop into your household.
You need to work out how to do it first.
Streaming our games of Blood on the Clock Tower.
Yeah.
So there are things that we are looking into as we speak. The main reason I didn't do a big announcement like I did for the podcast last year is because I'm still doing my research. So for 2026, so yeah, I'm looking into that. That's
we
something...
don't want to dilute what we're doing at the minute because we quite enjoy the podcast. Quite cathartic to have a chat every now and again, isn't it?
I think we're doing a lot of stuff, and hopefully you're enjoying it. And it's always good to have different medias because there are people who don't listen to this podcast. So those people who are not listening right now will know us from Instagram, but those people who also might watch on YouTube, but those people who might watch on Twitch, who knows? But
also we do have proper jobs and 2 kids to look after. So, we kind of have to balance.
Yeah, we have proper kids and 2 jobs to look after. So
we have to balance what is actually doable and not kind of say, oh, we're going to do all this stuff and then not be able to fit it in.
Yeah, and that's it. But yeah, next week is going to be another episode that will probably just have the same title called Anticipation. What we are looking forward to.
I'm going to think of a better word.
All right.
Anticipate.
Okay. Next week will be Anticipate. Yeah, so that's going to be next week, and that'll be good fun. Yeah, so that's what we're looking forward to, and I've got to do some research into what the heck is coming out in 2025. So that's fun.
No, you've got 4. You only need 1 more.
That's true.
I've got to do the research, and that's okay because I got a book.
That is true. She has got a book. So that's it, and that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please share this episode with a friend. Give us a 5-star review. Leave a nice comment. Share this on all of your social medias. And if you have any ideas or games or anything you want us to do on the podcast, let us know. If you want to be on the podcast, let us know. Or if you have someone who you particularly want us to interview, let us know. And we can try and sort out that as well. So, Happy New Year. Congratulations for making it to 2025. You didn't die. You've made it.
Oh, God.
And,
Craig.
Oh, God, Craig. See, Super Saiyan. And we will see you...
on the other side.
On the other... No, that's death again.
Oh, no.
We'll see you same bat time on the same bat channel. Like, 66, like old style Batman.
And remember...
yes. Remember to buy your gaming clothes from Shirts and Merch and rent a board game from Rent, Shuffle and Roll
that you can
using code GITG50. That's GITG50. And remember to get into the new year. The games. Get into the board games. Get into board games on air. Get into them.
If only I could do an ollie on a fingerboard.
Ollie, has anyone done an ollie on a fingerboard?
Because that's on air, but I can't.
That
do
is
it yet.
fingerboard on air. I think that's a different podcast.
I might not be able to do the podcast anymore
because you've been fingerboarding.
Because I need to practice my fingerboarding skills.
Yeah, so not only are we going to start Twitch streaming, we're going to be testing our fingering skills on OnlyFans. Anyway, so
that's not what I was saying at all. Oh my God! I hope nobody's got this on in the car with kids.
Yes, fingerboarding on air. See you
Can
next...
you imagine? I haven't done it. Oh!
Could you imagine OnlyFans? Just using a fingerboard on my feet. Come on, everyone.
Remember to...
We've done this bit.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, do you think they forgot what they were listening to? Remember. I don't even know if they've got this far. Remember. If you've got this far, I need you to comment on the Instagram post the word... Fingerboard. If you've got this far, then we know that you are a true... devoted listener and one of the good ones. Remember
Get into games.
Get into games on air. Podcast.com/podcast.